Hello everyone, near and far. Welcome back to explore the mysterious universe with us. A place dedicated to exploring, delving into, and uncovering the strangest things across the world. Today, we're going to pack our bags together, but not for a trip to Dalat or Fuquoc. It was a non-stop direct flight to Yemen, a land both mysterious and strange, so poor that merely hearing its name was enough to make one's heart ache. When you think of Yemen, do you immediately picture war, arid deserts, or the dusty, desolate scenes often shown on television? True, Yemen has deserts, mountains, and even thatched roof houses under the scorching sun, but hold on. Don't judge a book by its cover, for Yemen holds countless wonders so extraordinary they will leave anyone in awe. In a certain country, women were only allowed to communicate with each other in a special dialect, to the point that outsiders listening in would hear nothing but women's talk. A country with a capital nestled among mountains over 2,300 meters high, bitterly cold despite lying in the middle of a scorching Middle East. The vibrant festivals of the indigenous people, with their dances, songs, and lively rituals, make you feel as if you've wandered into another world. Hard to believe, right? Not all, it. Behind that seemingly impoverished exterior lies a treasure trove of culture, history, and unique traditions unmatched anywhere else in the world. So if you want to discover just how strange Yemen is, and what makes this land both mysteriously enchanting and oddly captivating, then keep your eyes glued to the screen and follow along. Coming up next, we'll explore the 6 strangest and most shocking things about Yemen, the country considered the poorest in Asia. Now, sit up straight, grab your glass of water, turn on your curiosity mode, and let's explore this mysterious universe together. Wedding with 2,000 grooms but no bride in sight. Have you ever thought about a wedding without a bride? It sounds strange and a bit odd, doesn't it? In Vietnam, as in many other places, if a wedding doesn't have a bride, it will surely become the subject of gossip and whispers among people. But did you know, in Yemen, this is completely normal, nothing unusual at all. Even a grand wedding with thousands of grooms but not a single bride in sight is considered quite normal. At first listen, you might find it a bit hard to understand. But I'll tell you a really interesting story about a mass wedding in Yemen. This place is full of grooms, with no brides in sight. In a special event, thousands of Yemeni men gathered in traditional attire. Mirror in hand, I immersed myself in a lavish and bustling wedding. But don't be quick to assume they had a bride standing by their side, because in reality, this wedding had no trace of a bride at all. Not because they don't. Women are discouraged from appearing in crowded public places, especially when many men are present. This wedding ceremony is exclusively for the grooms, and they will hold a separate party to celebrate together. The bride's side will hold a private celebration at a discreet location, not open to the public. So when will the bride and groom meet? That's right, they will meet in the evening after the wedding ends. The unique aspect is that many couples have never even met before their wedding day, as in Yemen, marriages are primarily arranged and facilitated by parents. This is completely different from the weddings we usually see, isn't it? What makes this wedding even more special is that it doesn't stop at just a simple traditional ceremony. This is also a special event with the participation of the former Emir of Qatar, His Highness Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani. This person spent nearly 170 billion Vietnamese dollars to organize a mass wedding ceremony. He hoped this event would not only hold cultural value, while also having the opportunity to set a Guinness World Record for the largest mass wedding ceremony. Can you believe it? A mass wedding with over 2,000 grooms but not a single bride in sight. Notably, all the grooms in this wedding are men who lost their parents. People who lack the financial means to hold a full traditional wedding ceremony. Family must prepare valuable gifts to bring to the bride, and the cost of a wedding can reach up to around $100 million. Many poor young men, therefore, cannot hold their own wedding without family support. Therefore, former Emir Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani decided to step in and help these orphaned men, giving them the chance to have a wedding even without the financial means. Thus, a wedding is not merely a significant event, but also a sacred moment that marks the beginning of a new journey in a couple's life. That is not just an act of helping those in need, but also a beautiful gesture that reflects profound humanitarian spirit. However, a wedding without the bride still feels a bit strange to me. What do you think about this? Do you find this difference interesting, or do you feel like you're missing an important part of the wedding? Please share your thoughts below this video. Yemeni men are so addicted to chewing cot leaves that they can't quit. Have you ever heard of the thirsty leaf? If not, you're in for a big surprise. The thirsty leaf is not just an ordinary plant, but also contains a substance capable of causing depression. If abused, it can even lead to schizophrenia. Doesn't that sound terrifying? But in Yemen, a small country in the Middle East, betel leaves are an indispensable part of daily life for the locals, especially for the men here. At around 2 p.m. every day, you'll see Yemeni men chewing betel leaves. Still chewing leaves out of habit, heedless of work or the life around. That's right, they spent a full 4 hours, from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. just to chew betel leaves and savor the sensation they bring. Not only that, but they also got to enjoy a delicious cup of black tea and relax in the cozy space called mufras. And so they would chat and discuss all sorts of things until it was time for dinner or bedtime. That sounds like quite an interesting habit, but have you ever wondered why you developed it in the first place? As far as I know, the cot plant is a very common type of vegetation in Yemen. The trees are widely planted, ranging from valleys to high mountain peaks. Every day, Yemeni people often chew fresh cot leaves to stay alert and enjoy a mild sense of euphoria. That feeling is like downing a dozen strong cups of coffee, so awake it's almost unbelievable. However, if used excessively, you may experience unwanted side effects. Users who chew betel leaves will face clear harmful effects such as low blood pressure, rapid heartbeat, loss of taste, and constipation. And what's even more frightening is that it can lead to throat cancer, depression, and especially schizophrenia. At first glance, this may seem like mere harmless fun, but once you realize its long-term harm, who would dare to keep up that habit? One thing that always weighs on my mind is, even though they know cot causes serious harm to health, why do the people of Yemen still chew this leaf every day without stopping? Why has such a dangerous habit become an indispensable part of their lives? While no one can precisely explain the reason, this is likely a distinctive feature of Yemeni culture and history. They have been attached to it for generations. Perhaps that is why it has become an inseparable characteristic of the community's life here. Perhaps it was the crisp sensation combined with the gentle fragrance of cot leaves that created an irresistible allure, making it impossible for the people of Yemen to refuse. What do you think? Would you dare to try chewing a thirst leaf once to experience that sensation, or would you steer clear of this plant due to its unpredictable harms? I really want to hear your perspective on this issue. If anyone knows the reason why Yemeni people still maintain this habit despite being fully aware of the consequences, please share it with me. Otherwise, I don't think anyone would dare to try. The 12-year-old girl cried until her tears turned to ice. A 12-year-old girl who doesn't? That sounds just like a ghost story from a movie, but hey everyone, this story is absolutely real. The little girl's name is Sadia Saleh, living in a small village in Yemen. She left both the medical community and the villagers utterly astonished. Have you ever wondered why that is? Let me explain it to you. Yemen's Azal satellite TV channel has posted a video capturing a bizarre scene performed by doctors. Just a few hours later, every time Sadia cried, tiny pebbles rolled from her little eyes. Does it give you chills? Me too. Does it give you chills? Me too. At first, I thought it was some kind of illness that the doctors hadn't diagnosed yet. Here are the natural English translations for your options. Pretty surprising, right? But this isn't even the strangest part yet, folks. According to a reporter from Azal TV channel, this phenomenon has caused immense panic among the residents of Sadia's community. Some villagers suspected the girl was under a magic curse. Some believe the child was possessed by evil spirits, or that this could even be a sign of an impending, extremely dangerous epidemic. Oh my god, just hearing it gives me chills. Although doctors and scientists still cannot precisely explain this phenomenon. But they couldn't hide their flustered and bewildered expressions upon witnessing that scene. They are still diligently researching, but so far have not achieved any concrete results. This story truly made me realize that the world still holds countless strange things I'll never fully understand. It's hard to believe my eyes when I hear that such things could happen. Have you ever wondered if we are living in a world full of unexplored mysteries? Here are the English translation options based on the context. Marriage is a significant turning point in every person's life. But did you know, in many parts of the world, marriage isn't just about two people in love, it's also a bond between two families. And in Yemen, a country where child marriage remains common, exchange marriages, also known as shikar, are an age-old tradition. And this is causing heartbreaking consequences that not everyone can fully grasp. Shikar is no stranger to the people of Yemen, especially in its impoverished rural areas. You may find this concept unfamiliar, but in reality, it's a form of wife swapping between families. Simply put, I marry your sister, and you marry mine. And in marriage, it's not just about two people but also the arrangement and harmony between two families. But sadly, when one marriage falls apart, the other is unlikely to survive either. This is a story of family tragedies, of fates caught in an inescapable whirlwind of tradition. Does that sound hard to believe? But in Yemen, shikar marriage remains a cultural practice in society, even though many Islamic scholars have affirmed that this custom is entirely unrelated to religious tradition. However, for rural families, they still believe that this type of marriage will help strengthen family ties and preserve inherited property within the household. Despite causing serious consequences, exchange marriages persist stubbornly, and here's why. In fact, many marriages at that time occurred between relatives to maintain family ties and preserve wealth. However, hidden beneath that harmonious facade are tragedies no one wishes to witness. Kao Choyan Kua Ku Ahmed Abdullah, Mo Noi Dan, 72, La Min Chung Do Long Cho Na, Ilui Tu Han Nyan Trao Doi. He shared that he had agreed to arrange a marriage between his son and his close friend's daughter. But just 2 years later, his daughter and her husband could no longer live together, forcing her to return to her parents' home. At that very moment, his daughter-in-law, whom he had always loved and never had any conflicts with, also returned to her parents' home. What pained him the most was that his son still loved his wife deeply and had no desire whatsoever to divorce. But because of this arranged marriage, he was forced to divorce his beloved wife, though his heart never wished to part from her. As a result, his son was severely affected to the point of complete mental collapse. Exchange marriages are quite common in Yemen, partly because women there often lack access to education. They are bound by a society where men are always seen as the pillars of the family. And many women are forced to sacrifice their lives just to preserve their family's honor. They have no right to decide their own fate, are not allowed to oppose, and are forced to live by the mold imposed by family and society. Shikar's marriage and its painful repercussions are not merely private matters for those directly involved. This is not just a personal issue, but also a matter of an entire culture, a society caught in the whirlpool of outdated traditions. Can it be changed? The answer remains open. But if you think marriage is just a personal matter, you might be mistaken. S and her family. Yemen, a land once hailed as the cradle of ancient civilization, now buckles under the weight of endless conflict, becoming a symbol of suffering and adversity. The happy land, blessed by nature with fertile land and abundant rainfall surpassing other regions. But today, Yemen emerges as a land of hardship, bearing the weight of a history ravaged by war, poverty, and centuries of religious conflict. Now, this country is no longer considered a happy nation. Despite its location on a strategically vital maritime route connecting Asia and Europe, where millions of barrels of oil are transported daily. Yemen is currently buckling under the strain of depleted resources and the dire living conditions of over 26 million people. Aden Port, once one of the world's largest seaports in the 20th century, is now but a faded shadow of its former glory. The persistent conflicts between tribes, between Sunni and Shia, have become a wound that never heals, plunging Yemen into an endless cycle of violence. To mention Yemen is to inevitably speak of the endless, protracted conflict among its factions. The history of Yemen is virtually a series of endless civil wars, beginning with the power struggle between the monarchist faction and the Republican faction. Until the power struggles between North and South Yemen, it wasn't until 1990 that the country was officially reunified, but shortly afterward, a new conflict erupted due to deep-seated disagreements between the two regions. However, throughout Yemen's long history, one constant remains. Weapons are ubiquitous, and each tribe always considers itself an independent nation. Ready to confront the government forces, the image of Houthi fighters, a Shia Islamist rebel group, further escalates tensions and complicates the situation. From a group opposing the government, they grew into a powerful military force, plunging Yemen into a prolonged and bloody war. Although there is still debate over who is backing this group, with suspicions pointing to Iran or Hezbollah. But in reality, the people of Yemen, especially the tribes in the GID region, are bearing the consequences of these power struggles. And amid all these conflicts, there is a group of people who are always forgotten, the children of Yemen. You are innocent victims, enduring the devastating consequences of famine, disease, and the ravages of war. Images of emaciated children suffering from severe malnutrition, or young ones forced to witness bombs and bullets taking their loved ones, remain a heartbreaking reality that lingers. The children not only had to struggle with hunger, but also faced incurable diseases due to the lack of medicine. Even if fortunate enough to survive those days of hunger and deprivation, the specter of war still lingers unseen. That pain and loss is perhaps the most horrific thing Yemen has had to endure. Amid a country overwhelmed by chaos, faint glimmers of hope still flicker, however fragile. The efforts of international organizations and the brave individuals who dared to stand up and help Yemeni children are the most fragile yet precious glimmer of hope during this time. But is that power enough to change this harsh reality? There is still no clear answer, but one thing is certain. The world cannot remain indifferent to the suffering of Yemen. Especially when innocent children still have to endure an endless, unrelenting war. Today's Yemen stands as a painful testament to the brutality of war and the catastrophic consequences of a lack of unity among peoples, faiths, and nations. But no matter what, hope always remains. Who knows? Perhaps one day soon, the children of Yemen will live in a world of peace. No longer having to flee in the darkness of war. Diem's mysterious hell, a place of darkness, a realm reserved for demons. Next, we will explore one of the most wondrous mysteries that nature has bestowed upon humanity. Gate to Hell. Located about 1,300 kilometers from Yemen's capital Sana'a, this ancient site has long puzzled scientists and exploration enthusiasts due to the lack of a satisfactory explanation. Is this truly a gateway to the world of demons, or just an unexplained natural phenomenon? The Barhat pit makes a strong impression at first glance, with a mouth spanning up to 30 meters and a depth ranging from 100 to 250 meters. Local legend says this place was a prison for demons, a massive dungeon meant to hold evil spirits. It's hard to believe the horror stories surrounding this well. From strange noises to foul odors rising from the pit at any time of day, all of it sends chills down the listener. Many locals here dare not go near, even avoiding it to the point of not wanting to mention it, simply out of fear of bringing bad luck upon themselves. However, Yemeni authorities were completely unaware of the mysteries at the bottom of the well. They only confirmed that this pit had existed for millions of years and that no one had ever descended to the bottom to explore it. So is there truly some mystery hidden beneath? And could this place really be the gateway to hell, as many rumors suggest? Recently, an expedition team from Oman decided to dive to the bottom of the lake to explore and unravel this mystery. So, what was the result? There was no evil devil appearing as the rumors claimed, nor did any gateway to hell exist as people had imagined. Instead, the research team discovered an incredibly surprising ecosystem hidden deep beneath the ice sheet. They discovered a small waterfall with strange rocks and cave pearls. Surrounding the area were animals such as snakes, frogs, beetles, and even the remains of creatures that had fallen from the sinkhole above. And this is precisely the reason why foul odors often rise from the swamp, not because of monsters or ghosts, but simply due to decomposing animal carcasses. Surely many are wondering, so what is the mystery behind the origin of Diam? According to the research team, they discovered a thick layer of limestone covered by a layer of stalagmites with rock formations reaching up to 9 meters in height. The base of the leaf still preserves cave pearls, also known as pisolites, a type of gemstone formed through long-term mineral accumulation. This unique geological formation is precisely what creates the majestic and surreal landscape beneath the Earth's surface. Additionally, small crevices on the cave walls seep water, forming tiny cascading streams that further enhance the mystical ambiance of this space. Although there are various theories about the formation of the depression, such as it being a collapsed frozen mound, also known as a pingo. One hypothesis suggests this could be a dormant supervolcano, but to date, science has yet to determine the exact origin of this phenomenon. If the volcano hypothesis is correct, we must be extremely cautious because one day, Mount Barhat could awaken and erupt. Caused a horrific disaster like the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. With its pristine landscapes and unique culture, Yemen holds a mysterious and captivating beauty. From ancient cities steeped in history to enduring cultural traditions, every corner of this country holds wondrous tales. The Mysterious Universe hopes that through this journey of discovery, you have gathered many fascinating insights about this enigmatic land. What impressed you the most about this trip? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Goodbye for now, see you again soon.